Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Gotta hit the mace one time for you. Welcome back. This is the Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast, and as tradition, that's Mr. KC from the 813. I'm that dude with the beard, and we blessed to be back and blessed to have y'all with us. Mr. KC, how's it going, my man?
Oh, dude with a beard. I'm excited for this week. We're starting to get a lot of that final little playoff push in there. We got a couple teams already locked in, ready to go. Nothing but exciting football is all I can say.
And we got a few teams trying to sneak in. We reaching the coveted final countdown. Ba-da-doo-doo. It's coming up. We are about to see it, man, and I'm excited too. Teams that are making a push that can arguably get right on in. We've already seen a couple of teams make some moves here, and we'll see if those moves stay. But let's go ahead and jump right on into the next annual Jeff Bezos Amazon Prime Bowl, which will feature the prince that was promised, my boy, young Trevor Lawrence, against the New York Football Jets. Now,
Oh,
two teams that I've liked the whole season. Um, you've watched the show, folks. You know I've said New York football is back, and it has been back. The Jets have been a been on a little bit of a skid, kind of shooting themselves in the foot, and the Jacksonville Jaguars been putting on a show. In this game right here, I've been mulling it over all day, and I've got to go with my gut, and I got to go with the Prince that's promised. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. Mr. KC, who you got going into this one?
ooh, ooh, ooh. It's an interesting one. Let's first shout out one of our comments. Ray's out here picking the Jets.
Jets,
And
Jets, Jets.
Ray had a pretty decent week last week, and I was kind of surprised you didn't go with the Jets.
Hmm.
Mister Football is back in New York has
It
been kind of
is.
shying away. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Jaguars are making that playoff push, and they're gonna make it. They're going to end up winning the AFC South, and it's theirs to lose at this point because the Titans seem like they're ready to hand it off.
Clearly, they don't want it. So I'm right there with you. I'm 100% behind that. Jacksonville just looks like they wanted more. Trevor Lawrence just looks like he's ready to make his stamp. So we're definitely going to see what's going on with that. Next game we got coming up on the slate, Saturday games. A lot of Christmas Eve games here. The first one we got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Baltimore Ravens. And Mr. KC, I'll let you take the floor on this one. Who you got going in?
Well, I'm not 100% sure if Lamar's back for this game, but I believe there's a chance that he makes it back. And I feel like, regardless, this is the Ravens game. The Falcons are a feisty team and they win games they shouldn't, but
True.
the Baltimore is going to be competitive, and it's hard to see them missing the playoffs this year. So give me Baltimore.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you because, like I said, whoever wins the AFC North, the second team is going to be the fifth seed. Like I don't see any other way around that. Baltimore is definitely going to take care of business. Like you said, Lamar, no. I think, excuse me, I think they just got more than enough to get it done. Like you said, the Falcons beat a couple teams that they shouldn't have beat, but they also lost to plenty of teams that they shouldn't have lost to. So
Hmm.
I'm more than confident we're going with Baltimore in this game for sure. And
And
Raymond,
Ravens, yeah, hitting that
yes, sir.
trifecta with the Ravens.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so that should be an interesting one. I'd stay away from putting money on it. It feels like it might get a little too heavy and you get some kind of weird upset because Vegas needs to even it out or something.
Oh yeah, it's an ugly one, ugly betting game for sure. Next one we got going on here, the Detroit Lions versus the Carolina Panthers. And a lot of people thought these Panthers was on a comeback, but it's really Detroit that's been roaring and screaming on the way. And it almost make you think about, man, was Mr. Casey right in the beginning of the season? Was he right about the Lions all along? So with that in mind and how I was thoroughly disappointed in Carolina, still kind of am. I'm going with Detroit in this game because everything tells me Detroit is ready to win this game. I really don't see it going any other way. How you got this one going, Mr. Casey?
Yeah, that dude with the beard. This is that Lions team that I was talking about and let everybody know in the beginning of the year. This is a serious team. And people were laughing. I was losing games. It was hard to make a serious argument. I felt like I got the true Detroit Lions fan taste in my mouth, and it was just, it's amazing to see them come back and with an easy Panthers game. I'm going to go with the Lions, and our boy Raymond is also taking the Lions. So, but we got back to back trifectas in from the fans and the hosts. So, but I feel like this is pretty fair one. If you want to put some money on the money line, you can make a couple dollars on the Lions.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's an easy win. Well, nothing's ever easy, and as the NFL turns, as it's been turning lately, but it should be a solid win for the Lions regardless. Next game we got on the slate here, the Buffalo Bills versus the Chicago Bears. And folks, it might be a shocker. This is the second week in a row I'm going to pick Buffalo to win because it's just Chicago's just not ready for this type of game. They put up a good fight last week, and I believe Fields got hurt again. And it's just a lot going on down there. I got to go with Buffalo. Logic will always reign true in real sports media of what we're doing here. Mr. Casey, who you got going into this one?
Well, I pray and I hope and I dream that the Chicago Bears can pull off this
I do
upset.
too. Oh my soul,
But
I do.
as also an honest man, we all know this is the Buffalo's Bills game, and this might be a good little parlay with the Lions.
It
Kind of
might be.
try to get yours out there. Raymond also went with the Bills.
But you know what? I didn't know that Josh Allen was limited in practice. He is a little banged up from doing too
Hmm.
much as tradition. So, I mean, the light is on. It is the NFL. But the smart money is Buffalo on this one,
Yeah,
if
that
you want to
could be
put a
a
few
real
dollars
upset.
down.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but I just don't see it happening as
Oh.
much as I wished.
Now, if he goes from limited to out, that could dramatically change things, but we'll just have to see. But I'm sure he'll be there. Next game we got on the slate here, uh, probably the most disappointing team of the season, in my opinion, who I had high hopes for, the New Orleans Saints versus the Cleveland Browns. And Mr. KC, who you got going into this one?
Ooh, this is an ugly game. And I think I'm going to go with the upset here and go with the Saints.
Hmm.
The Deshaun Watson Blood Browns has not impressed me. And the Saints somehow win games magically. And I feel like this is one they can magically win for no reason. And I've been real that Watson's Brown is just it's not the team.
No, I understand. I'm not impressed with these guys either at all. Um, I'm gonna lean more Cleveland way though because I believe the run game could probably get them the win. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if New Orleans won this game just because, like I said, I was gonna almost call them Chicago because it's the same dumpster fire situation. Still, in my opinion, like, yeah,
Hmm.
you did all this to get this quarterback just to come back this season and still lead your team to more mediocrity. You need to call Jacoby back up and see if you can get a few more wins. Like, I mean, I don't know, but I guess maybe you're playing for a pick right now. So
Yeah,
we'll
because
see.
honestly, it feels like well,
Ooh,
first we
Rays.
need to touch on it. Ray's going with the Saints too, so we got a little fan in the fan club.
Right.
Uh, but the Watson deal almost seems a lot like Russell Wilson's, and no one's really talking about that either.
Yeah. Well, maybe not yet. Maybe I would say it's similar, but Deshaun he ain't had enough time yet. Now, if the rest of the season's a complete trash dumpster fire, then we can start to allude to that because Russ didn't have it when he showed up to training camp. He didn't have it at the beginning of the season. Midway, halfway, a quarter way through, they still don't have it.
But when's
Uh,
the last time well Watson had it?
no, I mean no, that's true. He hasn't played in over a year before, well, a year and some change before his last few game, but He's gotten almost more dubs as quick as Russell Wilson did in the few games that he has played.
True.
So
There might be a versus video on this.
you're right. We
This
might, yes, sir.
there
Yeah.
might be.
Oh, yeah. That'll be the one. Um, Next game we got here, which is our game. It's a Saturday game. The Seattle Seahawks are coming to town to face the Kansas City Chiefs. And without a shadow of doubt in my mind, I know the Chiefs will win this game because it's a must win. But it's going to be ugly because the Chiefs have shown us as tradition. Andy Reid keeps continuing to show us that he doesn't like to put the ball in Pat hands late in the game for some reason right now. He'd rather rely on Harrison Butker or some ill-fated trick play that won't work. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully he straightens that out sometime soon. But I definitely got Kansas City beating Geno and the Seahawks because even though they've been playing good, they've been kind of on the skid. So I don't think they have enough to come into Kansas City and beat us right now. Mr. KC, who you got going into this
Well, this is a pretty easy one for me to pick personally. This is Kansas City by a mile.
one?
Raymond's also picking Kansas City just for another little trifecta.
Right.
Um, but listen, there's not a lot of teams that I enjoy beating more than the Seattle Seahawks. I have a lot of family members that are Seahawks fans,
hmm
so it's always a blessing when I can go and kick a little Seahawks butt. So I'll be looking forward to this game on Saturday.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that, especially a prime opportunity to talk trash. And then we can talk about it Saturday night on the live show, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you be there
Hmm.
because we'll definitely touch on it. We have to. We have to talk about NFL coverage on a day where they had NFL action. Next game we got on the slate here, we got the New York Giants versus the Kings of the North, the Minnesota Vikings. And ladies and gentlemen, this game should be a slobber knocker by all purposes. And in this game, I'm going with the Kings of the North. I was going to go with the New York Football Giants because they do need this win. They could use it. It'll strengthen their case to continue to hold down that wild card spot or maybe even move into a different spot here, depending on how the rest of the season shakes. But I think Kirk Cousins and their ability to win these one possession games and to come back from nothing, it seems, has to mean something. So I'm going with the Kings of the North, Jon Snow, and the Vikings over the Giants. Who you got, Mr. Casey?
Oh, this is a tough matchup. The Giants need this game. They had a big win against the Commanders.
They
You know, the
did.
Giants can be competitive when they want to, but the Vikings showed they can bring any game back that they want to. The
Man,
Kings of the North almost lost the crown, but they put it back on with a show of force. That's a big game to come back from, and that's not something you typically see a Kirk Cousins led team do.
exactly. Exactly. So it sounds like we're in consensus. The Kings of the North. And Raymond agrees for the trifecta again. The Kings in the North take this one. We're all in agreement. Let's just go ahead and put it in the books. The next game we have on the slate, which could be a tough one, a chippy one that I honestly hope that this team wins. We have the New England Patriots versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And for all purposes, to staying true to my soul and to my original pick, I am going with the New England Patriots in this game. They have got to beat the Bengals. They need to beat the Bengals to keep their playoff hopes alive. They can make the playoffs still if they win this game. New England has to get it. Mr. KC, who do you got going into this one?
Well, that dude with a beard, I truly enjoy your spirits in this holiday season. Just out here handing out gifts of wins to the Patriots.
It is, huh?
Um, when they open that present, it's going to be a box of coal. The
Oh,
Cincinnati Bengals win this game. They're going to end up winning the AFC North, and I think we see it pretty heavy on Saturday. Uh, what do we got here? Ray's going to go with Cincinnati as well.
New
Uh,
England.
Pretty safe pick. I do dream and hope that the
Nothing's safe.
Patriots, if we can have a fairy tale ending to the Saturday games, this might be it.
This will be the one they win, especially after the debacle of last week. They gotta have it. That's what I'm saying. They have to keep it alive. It's the only chance they got. And what better team than to beat the Bengals? Because the Bengals still, like I said, they're still fighting for the North. Don't let Lamar come back Lamar-esque, because then they're
Mm,
really going to take the North. Like I said, one of the they're both going to make the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, but the seeding does make a lot of difference. Because I hope Cincinnati can actually almost hold on to that spot so they can play the Bills. Because, like I said, for some reason Andy Reid does not like to beat the Bengals, and if Josh Allen and them could go ahead and take care of them, and then come see us, we know we can beat the Bills in the playoffs. It's history. It's written. So
right.
we'll talk about that another time. We'll see what happens Saturday. We got the Houston Texans next versus the Tennessee Titans. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with the Texans. They've showed that they're more than a scrappy team. Tennessee has shown me consistently, time and time again, the last 4 weeks that they know how to lose a football game. I don't know what it is. They cannot get a dub. Kansas City destroyed them, and that was it for the season. After that, it's been nothing but turmoil. Mr. Casey, who you got going into this one?
If I've done anything this right this season, it's not pick the Texans to win games. And I'm going to continue with that streak.
Okay.
It's done pretty well for me. Give me the Titans. The Texans are playing for draft picks, and you don't win that by beating the Titans. I think the Titans, they lost Tannehill, so you're not dealing with that subpar. I'm trying to think of an appropriate word to use,
Hmm.
um, but it's not the quarterback play that you want to see. So give me Tennessee.
The Texans quarter. Thank you, Raymond. The Texans quarterback play has been pretty sufficient. Did you not see? Didn't they play
They
Kansas City to the bone?
to the bone.
So
They play every team to right
right,
there.
right. So I'm sure they have enough in the tank. Even get them one more win, they still get the number one pick. They got enough in the tank to take Tennessee. Upset pick. It ain't even an upset, right? But Tennessee don't want it. Like
Uh,
they don't want it. They are
I don't.
so ready to give the South away. It's scary.
I don't think you can prove the Texans have shown they wanted any game either. So they
Shoot,
got a whole lot of.
they wanted the last few. They still
Mhm.
professionals. They don't want to
Yeah,
lose every game.
yeah. You one in one hand and Texans in the other is all I'm
Look,
gonna say.
I understand, but we gonna see it. Yeah, if it be an upset, we'll talk about it Saturday. Trust me. Next game we got on the slate, which should be a tough one. It should be everything that you would want almost in a football game. We got the Washington Commanders versus the San Francisco 49ers. And Mr. KC, I'll let you take the floor. Who you got going into this
Ooh, this is a pretty good game, ain't it? Look at this one.
one? Hmm.
49ers and the Commanders. And this would be a great one for the Commanders to upset. And I think I'm going to go that route. Everybody's been super high on the 49ers. And I don't think this takes anything away from the 49ers. They've already locked up or not draft, their
Playoff
playoff
spot.
spot.
Hmm.
And they give up one because they don't care.
And you know what? I wouldn't say because they don't care, but I was going Commanders in this one too because I've been high on them lately. Like I said, this is my Detroit Lions right here. Just
Hmm.
they're doing it, and I believe that they're holding on to their playoff spot. Like I said, they just lost a tough one to the Giants, so it means more to Washington to win this game, especially to keep playoff hopes alive. So I'm going with the Commanders in this one too here for the upset at home.
And Ray's going to go the Niners. That's a good safe pick. They've been winning games. So
Yeah,
I don't blame you there.
can't argue. Next game we got on the slate here, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys. Jalen Hurts is hurt, supposedly, maybe all the way. We'll see. Dallas has struggled as of late, but is this the redemption game? Is this the one game that Philadelphia just drops because they don't care anymore. You talking about a team who really doesn't need to care anymore. So who you got going into this one, Mr. Casey?
I'm going the Eagles. Look, the Eagles have done nothing but win games. Jalen Hurts has been an excellent quarterback this year, but they're a well built team. This is a solid. If you look at the Eagles rosters from the top to the bottom, it's a pretty heavy list. Very solid defense, just like the Dallas Cowboys. I would give the Cowboys the edge on defense, obviously, but I think the Eagles still pull off the upset here with Hurts maybe out. And Raymond's gonna go Dallas here. He's going Dallas.
Oh yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I'm definitely going Dallas with my pick if everybody can hear
Mm.
me.
Yeah, we didn't hear your pick, but and we do now, I guess. The Dallas
Oh
Cowboys.
yeah, Dallas. This is a game that they need to win, and I always lean toward better quarterback play in situations like my man Mr. KC used to do, and I'm gonna have to go with Dallas in this one for the win. Especially need especially playoff and stuff like that because they don't want to see a low tier team like Tom Brady come in because when Tom's rolling in his playoff football, it's a whole other story. Next game we got here.
Speaking of that, we did have a quick question
How did Tampa Bay lose to Cincinnati?
because
As the
Cincinnati's the
NFL
better team.
turns,
It was an
as the
obvious
NFL
choice to pick
turns.
Cincinnati. Some people dream of Tampa Bay being a good team, but I'm not on the Tom Brady bandwagon, unlike somebody.
I just know when a train gets to rolling, it only stops at its appointed stops. And that Tampa Bay
Mhm.
train ain't stopping no time soon, regardless of record. They lost to Cincinnati because it's the story. It's as Cincinnati turns. Like I said, you got to have another AFC team to talk about besides the Bills and the Chiefs. You got to have that other contender right now, and it was up in the air, so it's got to be Burrow now. Next game we got on the slate here, we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And in this game, 7:15 prime time Saturday night.
Uh,
I'm going Pittsburgh in this game. uh, Dumpster fire. It's a trash game. I don't care what kind of win Vegas got last week. They're both 6-8. Mike Tomlin needs this win so he can move to 7-8 and solidify his never losing, having a losing season in the regular season because it's right here on the cusp. A lot of people said they couldn't get back. They wasn't gonna make it to this point. A lot of people that I know personally who's right across the screen from me. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Lock your windows, lock your doors. It's the Steelers. Who you got, Mr. KC?
well, Raymond went with the Steelers too.
Exactly. I
There's
wasn't
no
even gonna
way.
mention the Franco
Listen,
buff.
listen. This is how you get questions like, "How did the Steelers lose last week?" This is how it happens. It's because they're not a good team. The Raiders are not a good
R.
team either, but they're
Okay.
gonna win this game. This is kind of lopsided. Tomlin's not hitting 500 this year, and this game locks it in.
Well, we gonna see, man. Because if not, I got a crow with your name on it. Put a
And
little
I'll
Gates
eat it.
on it. Put a
I'll
little
eat it.
Gates on
Hey, hey,
it.
you put some Gates on anything, you know. Look, I ain't even had Gates in a minute. Like,
Right. He said,
woof,
but hey, don't
woof.
say. I already know. Well, okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna see on that one. Sunday games here. We only got a few. We got Green Bay versus the Miami Dolphins. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with Green Bay in this game because Miami is continually to show me what I knew all along that they don't have it. Um, my counterpart here has been trying to get me to jump on that burning train, but my soul and my common sense knew not to do it. It's the Miami Dolphins. They will forever Dolphin. I got Green Bay going into this just because the Dolphins are that bad. Mr. KC, go ahead and tell us why you think the Dolphins will win this game.
Well, first of all, the quarterback's not on peyote. So that usually usually helps get you. Also, the quarterback doesn't have a sign language that he makes up every week and doesn't share with the wide receivers. So I thought that was a pretty odd feature about Aaron Rodgers. Apparently, he just likes to put fingers up and
Steven
expects you to
Seagal
know what that
style.
means. Yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers checked out a long time ago, and I don't know how we ended up back picking Aaron Rodgers. But this is how if he was going to make a playoff run, he's got to win this game, I guess. So we'll go with that.
Thank
Uh,
you, Raymond.
Raymond's going Green Bay.
Thank you, Raymond. I'm telling you, man. So it's just what they should be Buffalo.
Yeah, they should have.
They should have, but we done
They should
moved
have.
on. They should have beat. They should have beat a lot of teams.
Well, they've only lost a couple of games, so it's not like you can.
What do you mean a
Yeah,
couple? They lost five.
yeah, a
That's
few,
over
a
six. I'm
handful,
sorry, 6 games. They're only two
something
games
like
above.
that.
They're in Miami. What are we talking about? Like, yo,
Uh,
I don't know why. Anyway, this is almost the Bengals gone bingo conversation, except for the Bengals are beloved by the referees in the NFL because of Joe Burrow. But
and
Miami's Miami.
the
I'm sorry.
scariest part is if Miami does lose this game, they're in trouble.
That's what I'm
Serious,
saying.
serious trouble.
They'll be 8-7. Like, what? Am I the only one looking at this thing? Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
gotta
it's
have it, but I don't think they're gonna get it. Next game we got here, we got the Denver Broncos versus the LA Rams. And this is almost the second week in a row where I don't even want to pick a winner. It's a trash dumpster juice game. I don't care who wins. Neither of these teams are doing anything that's worth talking about. I do I got a coin or something?
no.
Eeny,
I'm just
meeny,
gonna say
miny,
the
mo.
Rams. It's
Yeah,
just the
let's go
Rams.
Rams.
Yeah,
Let's go
Rams.
Rams.
I don't like the Broncos. I don't need a coin flip.
Thank you, Raymond. That's what
Ravens.
I'm saying. Let's
Yeah,
go Rams.
yeah,
Like, what are we
yeah.
talking?
I'm
Why are
right
we?
with you. This is a garbage game. It doesn't. I don't like the Broncos, so I'm gonna pick the Rams. That's who wins. Stay away from this game. Don't
Yes,
watch it.
sir. Yeah, it's like I said. You want to talk about the dumpster juice game of the day? And the next game we got a game that's going to give Tom Brady one more win under the column: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't care who you are, suck your teeth, make as many excuses as you want. If you don't pick the Buccaneers to win this game, you're crazy. And that's all I got to say. Mr. KC, who do you got going into this one?
Tampa, because I'm not crazy. Like it's uh Ray's going
You're right.
Tampa.
That's what. Thank you. Like, what are we talking about here? Like I said, another win on the road on the way to the playoffs to make Tom Brady go into the playoffs on a little 4 game win streak just hot enough. We're gonna see, man.
Man,
I'm
and the
telling you.
crazy I'm gonna have like 12 weeks
Ooh,
to clip of
pillow
that
talk.
tape
I
too.
can't wait. Ooh,
Just
I
just
know it.
yeah, I can't wait to like do like the 12 little clips so you just repeating every week. This is what's about to happen, folks.
I'm trying to tell you. And then we're gonna spread it like wildfire. 'Cause I'm telling you, Tampa Bay, like I said, divorce is settled. The team is starting to meld in jail. He gonna get this thing right. Like I said, all it takes is a wild card. That's how he got it last time. All he got to do
Right.
is get in the door. Like I said, there's not too many NFC teams when I look at them that I think could just honestly beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs. I don't think Dallas could do it. I think the Eagles maybe and the 49ers maybe. Anybody else, good night. You thank you for coming.
If they fire on all cylinders. Not that
That's
it
what
would
I'm
be
saying.
bad.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
It's
Just think about it. Just consider it. Just stew on it. That's it. Uh, but that's the Sunday night game. Moving into Monday, the Monday night game. We got the resurgent Los Angeles Chargers, who's currently clinging to a playoff spot because all the blessings in the NFL has led them to this moment, versus the Indianapolis Colts, who love to play spoiler. And ladies and gentlemen, just because of my deepest distaste for the Chargers, I'm going with the Colts in this game. Uh, if they can just somehow pull it out. That's all I can say because the Chargers are beatable, but they are a feasible team. If the Colts can play chippy and actually secure a game and win it, this will be the one. I'm going with Indianapolis. Who you got, Mr. KC?
Well, you are getting BD Nick Foles, and that's always an upgrade over Matt Ryan in my books.
Hmm.
It's wild to think about, but I'm going the Chargers. I feel like it's the obvious choice. I enjoy your enthusiasm about the Colts,
Hmm.
and with Nick Foles, you just never know. They really could.
What did Raymond say? I missed it. Hey, where's
Raymond went Chargers.
zero faith in Tampa Bay? Oh, what did he say? He going to charge zero faith. Yeah, he looks awful right now. He looks off right now, but holler at me in the office. Tell me how he looked then when he beat Dallas or whoever's unfortunate enough to cross his path in round one.
Yeah, it's a scary. Like Tom Brady is a trash quarterback this season, and it's hard not to say that he's not. But I mean, if you're gonna pick a playoff quarterback to have, or you really want to go against Tom Brady,
Right,
this is
'cause I
the
wouldn't pick
time of the
Kirk
year you
Cousins
want
over.
to. I'm not making fun of him before I play him. I
Right.
put it to you that way. That's it's a dangerous man to pick on. You know, you got to keep the trash talking to a minimum till after the game. You know, but oof, Tom Brady, it's rough.
Like I said, that's a tough out, man. And like I said, yeah, they look bad now, but like I said, even looking bad, they're still winning their division. They're still on the road to the playoffs and probably about to pick up another win this weekend. So we're gonna see. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got here for is the NFL schedule this week. Hopefully, like I said, these Colts pull something out on Monday. We'll see when we get there here. But the next segment we got for you, which is my favorite, top three definitely favorite segments, it's the bold predictions, bold seven. And as tradition, I'm going to let my man, Mr. KC, go first and give us his bold seven for the week. And ladies and gentlemen, if you got a bold seven, your favorite top seven right now in the NFL, list them out, put them in the comments. We'll go over, we'll chew on it, let's talk about it. Mr. KC, the floor is yours. Who you got?
Yeah, that's right, folks. Don't forget to get your top seven in because we will talk about it afterwards. Number one on the bold top seven is the Philadelphia Eagles. Best record, best all that and shenanigans. You got to give it to the Eagles. They've been riding high for a long time. Number two is the Buffalo Bills. You gotta they beat my man Miami Dolphins. I gotta shut up and have them ahead of me. Number three, the Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, the most dangerous quarterback in the league, about to get that MVP title and the Super Bowl MVP. Number four, Kings of the North, Minnesota Vikings. Look, these dudes with that comeback win proved that they are ready to be out here. Number five, the Dallas Cowboys. This is a legitimate team. Starting to fall off a little bit, but it's still kind of scary. Number six, Cincinnati Bengals. They've been
Mm,
winning games. Bengals gonna Bengal must mean they're making the playoffs. I
man,
liked it better when they were losing games. It's my favorite origins, or
right.
however you say that.
No, I
Uh,
got you.
and number seven, let's go 49ers. You know, you can't have them not on the list at this point.
No, I feel you on that. I'm pretty much right there with you. My bold seven is almost the same as yours. I got a few different spots. Number one, of course, is the Philadelphia Eagles. Excuse me, can't deny them, won't deny them. Moving forward here, number two, I actually have the Cincinnati Bengals sitting at number two. I still think they're, as of right now, probably the most dangerous team in the AFC. Number three, I have the Kansas City Chiefs moving up from the five spot from last time. Um, Number four, we got the Buffalo Bills. Number five, I got the Kings of the North, the Minnesota Vikings. Number six, I have the San Francisco 49ers. And number seven, I got the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said,
Yeah,
we weren't too far off here. Like I said, just a few changes, but those are without a shadow of a doubt the best 7 teams in all of football right now.
yeah, it's a pretty solid list. I'm a fan of it. See what Ray's got. One Eagles, two KC, three
Okay.
Bills, four Niners, five Cincinnati, six Minnesota, seven is Dallas.
Right,
Same as
same
last
last
week.
week. Yep.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot to change from it from last week, if you think about it. All these
Right.
teams kind of did what they needed to do to win. I'd say the biggest change is the Miami Dolphins fell off my bold top seven, and I am kind of sad that I had to do that. I wasn't expecting to do it, and then
Oh,
you start running the numbers, and it's like, well, if this team can beat that, you start doing that parity game, and it's this seat's taken. I'm sorry, win a game, damn it, or dang
right.
it.
No, you got to go back and sit with Jenny because yeah, these spots in the front is taken. Sorry, Miami. Uh, I'm thoroughly satisfied that you don't have Miami in that list, honestly, because I don't think they deserve to be there. I would have put Detroit there, not Detroit there. Well, probably I'd have put Detroit there or the Ravens before I would have put Miami at that bottom spot because they could have only been 7, if anything.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I'm fine with that. Ray, you got a good list. Like I said, same as last week, and we've pretty much all picked the same teams. Well, we did. Like I said, just slightly different orders here. So it's good to see that, like I said, logic is reigning true once again in real sports media. I like that. Um, I think that's pretty much all we got to cover here. That was the Bold Seven. We done went through the list. We done went through Ray's Bold Seven. Mr. KC, am I forgetting anything?
No, I mean, I think the only thing we can really kind of touch on for maybe a moment is the playoffs. But it's kind of the same conversation as last week. You're looking at
Yeah.
can the Lions get in? The only big game that kind of changed the way we might have looked at things was the Giants versus the Commanders game.
True.
That kind of gave the Giants back that edge that they needed versus the Commanders. But I think we just give right back to that after this week.
Yeah, that's pretty much accurate because everything is pretty much sitting the same. Like I said, the only real movement we've had, and like I said, which is pretty much going to come down to the end of the season, anyways. In the AFC, that 6 and 7 seed, that thing is
Right.
interchanging. Like I said, Miami's down there now, and the Chargers went up, but the Patriots are still there. The Jets are still there. All of these teams pretty much got the same record, dang near.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
now you got enter Jacksonville. So like I said, that thing is shaping up to be really good. We can arguably say the first 3 seeds are locked up, regardless of the order of how they end up in, and if Buffalo actually wins their division. So we'll see because they've clinched a playoff spot. So we can't argue with that.
Right. Yeah. And thankfully we got a couple teams that have clinched, so it kind of gives you that kind of clearer picture. And like the Jags, the reason they have a chance is because they're in the South. They don't
Hmm.
really have a wild card chance, but they could get in. It really just comes down to does Miami get it or does the Chargers get it? In my opinion, and I gotta lean Miami personally, but I could see the Chargers pulling it off and making the playoffs.
I can't see it, but if the NFL showed me it's going to happen, then I'll accept it. I'll put it that way because I
But do they
still
do it
think
over Miami?
do they do it over New England and Miami and like I said, bro, I think that East is so deep. Like I said, because Buffalo still got a chance not to win the East. So that's what I'm saying. Like the East is still kind of open. So I
The
mean,
East
we'll
is
see.
open.
We'll see.
They
But
would they'd have to lose this Bears game, which I don't see. A couple of little cupcakes there to like running out of time.
yeah. Well, hopefully that's the upset of the day right there. That's one that I would definitely wouldn't mind seeing. Like I said, Buffalo, as
Mm.
long as they lose another game, so Kansas City can get to that number 1 spot, I'll be thoroughly satisfied. I don't care who gets the dub on them, as long as he gets done. That's all that matters, really. That's the homer in me, but that's just what it is. Like I said, they got to play them Bears. We're gonna play the Seahawks. We're gonna see what's going forward on that end. Like I said, the NFC, like I said, that thing is kind of sold up, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of teams that are in the mix here, standing wise. Not too many tiebreakers really to go over because, I mean, the Giants and Washington literally had a tie, but now that they've got that one dub over them, that should pretty much settle that as far as playoff seeding. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens, really.
Yeah, yeah, and there's just a couple games left to play out, so a few more weeks and we get that glorious, glorious playoff football, which
Yes,
we'll
yes.
probably have to do a live or two for a couple of these other games. Probably won't do it for a Chiefs game because I
Gotta
can't
watch that.
guarantee. Yeah, get it's too much attention going on in the game. I think I can do like another team, but I don't know if I can do a Chiefs one.
Yeah, no, it's too much watching happen on that. But we can cover any other one. We'll live stream. We'll talk about it. Talk about a Chiefs win. Hopefully, we'll move on into that as we get closer to that, though, because that's not a bad idea. I think we should go ahead and put a few on the table, at least as far as prominent games, especially a Tampa Bay game for all you fans out there, you doubters and naysayers. So we'll get that going. Oh, look like we got one coming
Quick
in.
comment here. Defense is trash. It is. It absolutely is. Listen, we just watched the Broncos score 20 what points? 28 points or something like that. And the Broncos don't score more than 18. Like it was unbelievable. The Texans should not have been in a game. Period.
Well,
Like it's
a lot, a lot of that has to do with the youngness of the defense, and when you're always ahead, like Kansas City usually is, you tend to face a lot of pass offense and stuff like that because so many teams are trying to come back. So you got to think about these boys getting burned out, over the course of the game. But they definitely could step up. But considering where we're at right now, I would say they played overall pretty decent, but it could always be better.
yeah, I think it's interesting. But the Kansas City hasn't had a good defense in a long time. Like,
Oh
don't
yeah.
let any of these Spagnola and led defenses fool you. They came around a couple times in a couple games, but overall not the greatest.
No.
Once imagine Pat Mahomes with a top 10 defense. That's all I'm gonna say. One time, give him a top 10.
Yeah.
Never had it ever. High
Probably
school,
won't see it
college,
for a couple of years. Huh.
yeah,
'Cause you
easily.
know, Brett Veach, he don't believe in allocating to that side of the ball. So we'll see what
Uh,
happens.
both first round picks were on the defense.
How long did that take?
True. Said you get running backs that can't run the
You see
ball.
what I'm saying? Like
Uh,
what? We could have had studs, or you could have actually had a running back who could have ran the ball. You could have went and got Taylor. I'll always forever say that. Indianapolis has our running back. Ladies, anyway,
uh,
so anyway, moving
yeah,
on
there's a
without the
few of those.
heartbreak.
Like, we'd have DK Metcalf over Hardman too.
You see what
But
I'm saying? But
you know,
yeah,
things were ready to give up the farm for Metcalf, and I was like, actually, I just we already made the mistake of not getting it when we should have. I don't want to touch it.
right. Don't want to get him late, not especially when Kadarius Tony should be turning around. I think he'll get the defense that KC need a left tackle. Yeah, they should have never traded for Orlando Brown. I've been on record
Mm,
saying that so many times. You gave up so much. I would have for one kept Fisher and then drafted a guy and then allocated funds to the defense that year. Because just think about it, we could have had
yeah.
Sertain then. We could have had I always think about what's the linebacker name? Devin Bush. We could have had a couple of these
Mm.
guys that went on to Tampa Bay in these areas. I'm just like Murphy's like, no, let's get a tight end who won't never play. a third string tight end, or let's go get another wide receiver who we're going to cut before season even starts, or he'll never even get to play. I remember they wasted a pick on Cornell Powell. So many picks
Mm.
they wasted on guys who's never even touched the field.
I think Cornell Powell did actually touch the field this year. He got his
Finally,
first, yeah, he got his
ooh,
first start. I don't think he caught the ball or nothing, but
sounds about right. They just
yeah,
needed a body then. He was probably elevated for a roster spot.
yeah, it'll
Probably.
be interesting to see what they do with Frank Clark. See if they can finally get him off the team.
Oh
Or,
Lord, please. If
but
we
I
could
could
like,
also see them giving him a cheaper contract at like 8 million, 10 million a year to be
I
a
hope not.
veteran rotational defensive end
He
because
wouldn't
you
even be
can't
good at
find one.
that. He
Yeah, I
wouldn't even
know.
be good at that.
Yeah, because you look
Carl,
at what Carlos Dunlap does it,
thank
and he
you.
does it great.
And
But
that you took the words right out of my mouth. He's the best pick on the defense that we've got all year. Carlos
oh yeah, we
Dunlap.
got you. We got you. A little bit, a little cap space. Be interesting. I know Pat Mahomes' money does go up next year, so that always does things. But we have to look at both tackle spots. We still don't have a right tackle that's the guy, and we've drafted
Yeah,
two of them in trying, and
yeah,
neither one of them
Niang.
can even make the field. And then you have Orlando Brown, who's a garbage left tackle. And the only nice thing is I do think we can get a tag and trade out of him. We might get a first round pick back or a second round pick for him, or a third. I'd take a third.
I don't know because we got him franchised right now. I think we just let him walk. Good night.
Uh, I think someone. Well, the thing is if he walks, he's instantly the best free agent left tackle. So there's value. Somebody wants to pay him. I just don't want it to be us, and we dodged a bullet.
No, I understand. We're gonna see. I just think that they shouldn't have wasted all that capital on him already. They moved him to the left tackle. No, and
This is what I wanted them to do in the beginning of the season.
they should have just drafted a tackle, one who was ready, and then just got
Yeah,
the ball rolling like how they did with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. Like I said, you go and get guys who are ready.
yeah.
But
Who's
I
I think we
wouldn't
have
be
one.
mad at it. Anything would be an upgrade over Brown.
Yeah, let's trade for Nick Bosa. Look, that would be
We
a
can't
dream,
afford
wouldn't it?
Nick Bosa.
Yeah, we got Bosa
We
paychecks.
got we got to go get somebody fresh out of Ohio State. If
Yeah,
we want, I
you.
also we got to get somebody right out the pipeline. And if anybody's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr., but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, because why would it? It would take a lot to get Nick Bosa,
A
especially like
lot,
our first round pick is basically a second round pick.
right?
So, and other teams know that. This isn't a quality. You're not getting a quality first rounder
Right,
that late. So for Bosa, you're probably looking at like a first, second, and a fourth or something crazy like
man.
that. Like you're just like take my draft.
Right,
Kind of a Tyreek Hill kind of situation.
right.
But if we could afford it and do it, I'd take him. Maybe Matt Crosby. If there was
Obviously,
someone
Crosby
still
would
him.
be more. Yeah, he'd be more feasible to get. I'd take
Oh,
somebody. Yeah,
less
I'd take
likely.
him. Yeah.
I think less likely because the Raiders won't trade to give him up.
Well, no, I'm just
Yeah.
talking about as far as price tag. But no, yeah, it's
Mm,
unlikely, very unlikely. I don't see that happening at all, unless they do a Chiefs and get rid of them, like how we got rid of Jared Allen.
hmm True. That
So
was a that was a sad deal. I was just watching the little highlight video of him talking about how all that went down. I was just so mad. It's just one of those so mad things.
terrible GM.
Yeah.
You already know them days. Anyway, not to rehash old pain. We're champions. We've moved on. We're in promising
Right.
Judy now.
Yeah, we're
We're in
not worried about
big
you no
greener
more, Jared
pastures.
Allen. Yeah.
Right. We're in greener pastures. But I wish we could find a dog at the end like how we was all them years. We couldn't miss for a while. Like I said, if we could get another Tamba, it would just
Oh,
make my soul happy.
you mind reader. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, can we just get a Tamba Hali? Like,
Man.
gee,
Or
like
if
Greg
y'all
Houston.
Man, that's what I'm saying. You could have went and got Houston back. There's so many choices, so many things that could have happened.
And
But
right now, Houston would have been a better choice than Frank Clark would have been. So it's
without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm sure he would have had more sacks by now.
yeah, I'm pretty confident in that too.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Let me see. We got one more comment here. Oh yeah, Harrison
Right.
Jr. is nice. But if we're gonna give the house for Bosa, mines will just trade for Denver Denver ain't trading
We should have
seven.
just drafted Sertain. But yeah,
Yeah,
no.
he ain't getting him. They need a help after getting fleeced by Pete. But you guys attending the draft this year.
Yeah, that's my plan. We can make plans and go together, young Zay.
Yeah, I will not. I'm actually I'm gonna watch the draft from the beach. Uh, I will have a. I'll probably get some little Remy or something and nice little umbrella for the drink, not myself, and enjoy the draft from there. And Jesse wanted to say that Spags is trash, and I want to agree. Look, no one's came after Eric to be enemy, and no one's came after Spags either. And when people are not trying to take your defensive coordinators or your offensive coordinators, he needs to go. It's that simple. You don't
It
have a
is.
10-year defensive coordinator.
No, you just don't. And it's more than time to get rid of this dude. Like I said, this is Bob Sutton all over again.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. It's crazy to see, and some teams will just ride it out. So we'll see what the Chiefs do on the off season. It'll be interesting, I think.
We're gonna see, cause yeah, they got to do something. If they got to make a move, and it's got to be quick.
Yeah, and a lot of other teams are in that kind of situation too. Like if you look at Miami with Chubb, we had that same conversation when they traded for Chubb. It was okay, you got Chubb now, but now you got to pay Chubb, Hill, Waddle, Tua. Like the math doesn't add up. So it'll be interesting to see what the Dolphins do eventually too down the line, just because we had already talked about that whole situation.
Right, you got to pay the whole community, and then so
Lots of money.
all that to go in on a season where you're 8-6. Hot dog,
Ugh,
hot dog, cat
ugh.
dog. Yeah, all that, man.
Begging, hoping to get in the playoffs at this point.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. We ain't got any more comments, Mr. KC.
I think that's all we've gotten so far. We got a pretty good amount here tonight, I'd say.
Yeah, and I do want to thank y'all for participating in that tradition and being a part of the show. Like I said, not just getting talked to, but communicating with, letting us know your thoughts here and your opinions, which more than likely we'll agree with because you're speaking nothing but truth in some of these situations. Uh, Me personally here, like I said, I'm just humble. I'm grateful that everybody showed up here. I'm sure Mr. KC feels the same way here. You want to say anything to the folks before we get wrapped here?
Yeah, I just want to give Raymond a shout out for saying see you guys Saturday night and peace out. And I want to give him a big shout out because if we do a serious scroll here in the comments, we'll see that I'm
Right.
early. This man showed up on time and ready to go. We was to see that. It had us pumped up to start the show, and we
You
appreciate
really
you,
did.
Raymond, for doing that for us.
Always, man. Like I said, you getting here early. Like I said, we do this for y'all. You showing up early lets us know that you ready, and it makes us more ready. Like Mr. Casey said, gets us pumped and gets us ready to go and do this thing. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who slide through, of course. Don't get us wrong. We just
Right.
grateful. That's all it is. We're grateful, accept it with all humility.
Exactly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, As tradition, we gonna see y'all on Saturday night after these football games here. Next weekend, I'm really looking forward to. We finally get the college football playoff going on. We're gonna talk more about that. We'll talk some wrestling this weekend. We'll talk some UFC since they've had their final events of the year. We'll go over everything here. It'll be a smorgasbord of entertainment Saturday. And as tradition, he's Mr. KC from the 813. I'm that dude with the beard. We love y'all. See you Saturday.